Welcome back to another look into the deep things in Scripture, trying to find the truth from the lies. Picking up where we left off in the last video on the con job of the Ark of the Covenant, noting that the Ark is a con job, God in a box, that is used to control people, that those who control and have access to the Ark are those who are put in place by quote-unquote God to bring their understanding and their leadership there to lead and rule over you. We are now moving to the tabernacle and then the temple. Why were these brought into place? Was not there a tabernacle or temple to begin with in the beginning? Why is this something that is only established at the time of Moses? Because remember, the scripture says that the Creator is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That being the case, there would have had to have been a temple from the beginning. And by the time we get to the end of this, we will see that there was and still is. That same temple is still in place. So, why the need for the tabernacle? Well, part of the con job with the ark, it will begin to wear off if it is something that the people can scrutinize and see, and it's just something that becomes common. So they have to make it, quote unquote, holy, and they have to set it in their tabernacle, their tent that they have set up, that has very limited access only to the most, quote unquote, righteous person, these high priests that are only of a certain line in a certain place, and they're the ones who decide who gets to be the high priest and who goes in one time a year with their blood sacrifices. That'll play in the next video. The tabernacle is initially this tent that is portable so they can move it about as the people are moving about, but eventually it becomes permanent in this place that they said was Shiloh. Whether that's true or not, it sets a place where you must come to be where God in a box is. So the God in the box is now within this tent, and you have to come to where this tent is, and the people who officiate over everything are there. And it is at this time that these sacrifices are set up, the daily sacrifices, the weekly, and all these offerings and all these other things get set up that were never mentioned from the beginning. The tabernacle, like I said, is used to house the ark away from prying eyes. The people can read the scribes made up stories on the origin of the ark and the tabernacle, which they are made to think is real history and God's will. With the tent, the lie can continue, and it controls the people. They have to come to where the tent is, which is first at Shiloh and then moved to Jerusalem, supposedly by David. And it is used to enrich, both literally and with a history, this religious hierarchy. These are the continuation of this con job. So once they have people settling down in cities, now there's the need to create something greater than just a tent, something to show the grandeur of their God. And so they show this with creating a man-made structure made out of stone or something that will last for a long time, or that they can deck with gold and jewels and silver, everything to make it look opulent and grandiose. And you have many scripture verses that the scribes had put in place. And again, it is to continue the lie and to continue to build it up. It controls the people, that they have to come at least once a year to come to this particular place, or you're not going to make it. This whole lie. And it is established in supposedly this place called Jerusalem, which we are told is this place in the Middle East. This is very much the same as what continues in Christianity, especially in Catholicism, because the place to go to is the Vatican with St. Peter's Basilica, these relics and things that are set up from the past, and maybe even a past that we really don't know the full history. That's another story for another time. But there are other places that Christianity think are special and they must go. Some even think that the places of Judaism are special to Christianity because Christianity is just a continuation of Judaism. But when we look even at Islam, they have their holy places with their holy objects in Mecca and Medina. So you see this continuing theme goes on in the false religions. And bringing a bit of the same theme from the last video, we have Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And is this again a foreshadowing, a subtle way of showing that the temples of Judaism are temples of doom? They lead to death, just as in that movie. The temple is a temple of death. It's a temple of sacrifice and going into human sacrifice. So let's look at the scriptures showing that his temple he made without human help. Let's look at John 4:21. One of the witnesses said, "Lady, believe me, the time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem." Why would that be said if the temple was something that was given by the Creator, something that he wanted? Obviously it's not, because this statement wouldn't stand if it was. Let's go to Matthew 12:6. I tell you that something greater than the temple is here. Now, most people would say that is referring to the one who is speaking, but no, that would be ego and somebody lifting themselves up. No, the thing that is greater is what the Father actually established from beginning in Genesis. That is still at place at the time of the witnesses coming, still in place now today. And that'll come out here very shortly. Let's go now to Acts 17:24. The true God is the creator of all things. He is the owner and Lord of the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. And he doesn't dwell in any temples made by human hands. How clear can you get that he never wanted, has never asked for temples made by human hands? He already has his own, that which he created. Acts 7:48 through 49. The Most High doesn't dwell in temples made by human hands. As the prophet says, "Heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool." Could you build me a temple as good as that? Asked the Eternal. In those verses, the prophet being talked about is Isaiah, and in the scroll of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 1, it says, "Heaven is my throne and earth my footstool. And where is the place / and I'll include day of my rest? Has not my hand made all these things? And so they came into being, declares the Eternal." And going into the next verse, "These are the ones I look on with favor, those who are humble and contrite of spirit and who resonate with my word." And from Psalm 138, verse 2, "I will worship in your holy temple," the temple that he made, "and praise your memorial," not name, "for your loving kindness and your truth, for you have magnified your word, and above all your memorial, the seventh day Sabbath." So what is it that is resonating? It is realizing the truth and his ways that you are on that. And in backing up, do you not know the place, which could also be translated day? Do you not know the day of my rest? And most people don't, because they've been tricked into believing it's Saturday, Sunday, Friday, when in reality, the Sabbath that his temple of time is the Sabbath, which he created by resting on the seventh day. This is why he says he needs no temple made by human hands. He's already created his own temple. Temple is probably not the appropriate word because he doesn't need offerings and sacrifices. It is more his house or the place of gathering where we can come to learn. His university where we can learn to be as he is, to learn his ways, to eventually become like he is, to become a true child of God, a literal son and child in the way that he has established things in order for us to become his children. So again, summing it up, the con job is put in place to remove the truth that Father created and established the Sabbath from the beginning, that this is his place where we are to come, to gather in mind and in will, not in a physical place, to where we listen and hear from him. We talk and communicate with him, and we can learn. We can ask the questions, and he can respond to us. The teacher is in session on Wednesdays. You come any other day, he's not there. He may hear you from afar, but he comes close to us on the Sabbath. This is why we are asked to come to rest. It is for our benefit to learn from him, to be close to him. It is his Sabbath that is, quote unquote, the temple that he has put in place. And so nothing else can come close. Nothing else can be like what he has created for himself. But it's not to aggrandize or lift himself up. It is to lift us up to become equal with him. This is the whole purpose. So the Sabbath is so important. Why it is one of the 7 ways of the Creator, because it'll lead us to understand the other 6 and how we are to interact with each other. We interact with the teacher, the one who has set everything up to learn his ways, so that we can become those who are humble and contrite of spirit. With that, hopefully, if not the next video, one of the ones coming up, we will continue and look into why sacrifices, both animal and human, these blood sacrifices are not asked for or ever wanted and are an abomination to the Creator. Blessings.